out there, we play intense, we play aggressively, we play football. That's what we do. And we do it every damn play. And we never let up. And once we jump on top of their we keep after them, and keep after them, and keep after them. Let's go. Here we go.
Handoff to Allen. Nothing there to the left. He reverses, comes back up the middle, breaks it at the 50. He's at the 40. He's off for the races. 30, 20. They're all chasing. None will catch. Touchdown Raiders. Holy Toledo.
Now here's O'Brien. Back to pass, looking long. He heaves it down the middle, and it's going to be intercepted. And then grabbed away by Sony. Runs into the end zone for the touchdown.
Now, we just got to take one play at a time. Force them to beat us. Let's go. Come on.
Come on, get there, get there.
Fair catch the punt.
Let's go. Get to the passer.
Strip that ball! Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
Let's go, killer. This ain't gonna be no place for women and children now, I tell you. When you get knocked down, you got to get up. You got to get up. You can't lay around on the ground.
Put it in the end zone.
He's going deep, Chip.
The Bears have captured the NFC Championship. Fire up the gumbo and clear the French Quarter. Here we come. New Orleans for Super Bowl 20.
The Patriots are indeed the champions.
When the road to the Super Bowl had run its course, only 2 teams remained. But at the beginning, 28 teams embarked upon a grueling marathon. And every contestant believed they could go the distance.
We can go all the way to New Orleans if you want to. Just stay together.
We're going to hang together. Right. We're going to run like hell. Yeah. And we're not going to stop until we get to New Orleans.
There were no shortcuts to New Orleans. The route was marked by more twists and turns than a backcountry road. Yet it also conveyed more heavy traffic than a bustling big city avenue. In negotiating heavy traffic, those who carried the ball were fueled by determination, and so were those who caught the ball. This journey required soft hands and hard heads. The road to the Super Bowl often suggested a demolition derby, staged on a storm-drenched dirt track, and such conditions produced gritty, down-to-earth heroes. But the season was also highlighted by a sparkling array of athletes who glistened like jewels in a crown. These shining stars included San Francisco's Roger Craig, number 33. This slashing runner sliced himself a piece of NFL history by becoming the first man to gain over 1,000 yards in both rushing and receiving. The Raiders' Marcus Allen, number 32, earned Most Valuable Player honors by displaying a rough-and-tumble style that made him the game's leading rusher. The Jets' Ken O'Brien worked hard to top the league in passing. Philadelphia's Ron Jaworski and Mike Quick worked overtime to create the longest pass play in pro football annals.
Jaworski retreats. He's looking. He fires the football. Complete to Quick. He's going to go. 25-40, 35-40, midfield, 45-40, 35-40. Mike Quick. Touchdown. The Eagles win. Jaworski to Quick. 99 yards.
The season's final week saw a 40-year-old record topple when Kansas City's Stephon Page, number 83, totaled 309 receiving yards against San Diego. This standard had stood for so long that Page didn't realize it was within his grasp.
You know you're only 6 yards away
from 300. I'm gonna get it.
The all-time record.
What's the record?
Yeah, the all-time NFL record.
Hey, no.
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
You got it.
I'll get it. We got a whole quarter to go.
Back to pass. Kenny throws
there it is.
Side. Caught by Page. He's got the record. Stephon Page with a gain of 11 has just set an all-time NFL single-game receiving record.
Of all the greatest receivers in history, nobody ever caught over 300 yards except Jim.
But I'm not one of the greatest. I'm just a free agent. No.
I like that old time rock and roll. I like that old time rock and roll. The music that'll thrill your soul.
The New York Giants made a big splash, but were an erratic team capable of rocking an opponent one week, then rolling over the next. Still, their coach absorbed the essence of the game in 1985.
Don't worry about doing everything perfect now. Just get out there and run like hell and catch it, all right? You know what I mean? Like a street game. Remember them? All right. That's what this is.
Pro football often did suggest a street game. And the New York Jets ran plays that seemed to have been designed on the sidewalk instead of the chalkboard. Yet these Jets proved to be streetwise enough to make the playoffs. But while they matured, the defending world champions regressed. The 49ers' once crisp offense went stale, but other teams gave half-baked execution a fresh approach.
Craig fumbles the snap. There's a scramble for it. Nearly fielded by the Rams. Craig gets it back of the 20. Throws in the end zone. I don't believe it.
But improvisation was an art that not all were able to master. The road to the Super Bowl often branched off into back alleys and side streets, where an innocent game of hot potato lightened the serious business of pro football. The playground spirit served to soften the harsh realities of a hard road where one could build up a full head of steam only to run out of gas before reaching the desired destination. It was a road that could become as confining as a crawl space and more tenuous than a tightrope. The road to the Super Bowl was built to accommodate a wide variety of travelers. And while it was only narrow enough at the end for 2 teams, 28 teams made it the most unique and exciting road in America. A season's story reflects in the faces of those who've endured so much for so long. Warm-hearted smiles that speak of success. Empty-eyed despair where things went all wrong. On the road to Super Bowl 20, several of the season's biggest individual stories involved men whose faces were not perched atop traditional football bodies. Men such as 5'6" San Diego running back Lionel Little Train James, the tiniest man in pro football.
During the college draft, everybody looks at you and they put you in the computer, and the computer spits out the perfect athlete that comes out and it's going to be a dominant figure in the NFL. It's not that way. To look inside of a person, you can't measure a person's heart with the computer. You have to give that person a chance to show what he can actually do.
Second and 4 from the 40. Fouts under pressure, steps up, firing long for James. He's all alone. Catch at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Lionel James.
In one typical performance, Little Train scored on a kickoff return, a forward pass, and a draw play. And by year's end, when his total yards were tallied, Lionel James had accumulated more of them in one season than any man in history.
They will sweep to the right side with Lionel James. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. The ball game is over.
Little Lionel James exploded into the record books, living proof that the only measurement that really matters is the size of the heart in the man. But the year's biggest individual story involved the top draft choice of the Chicago Bears, a 308-pound defensive lineman named William Perry, alias the Refrigerator.
Well, I didn't even know him. You know, I'd never seen him, never heard of him. He came up to the office when we picked him. He was, had about a size 60-something coat or something like that. He was a big guy. The thing that made me mad about him, he came to camp and he couldn't practice but one time, and he went in a heap, and it made a lot of people mad.
But Bear head coach Mike Ditka had an idea.
For the go-ahead score, in motion Moorhead to the right side. Hand off to Perry, crosses the right side of the line, touchdown!
I think a lot of underdogs in society relate to William. He's a guy that's worked hard, he got his weight down, he did everything we asked, and right now he's an ideal citizen, really.
In Chicago, perhaps. But elsewhere, folks were not fond of the Refrigerator. William Perry sparked a revolution. Corpulence came out of the closet. Cholesterol was now king. Fat was where it was at.
Refrigerator, Perry, he's my main man. If he can get us to the Super Bowl, nobody can. I said S-U-P-E-R, Super Bowl.
This calorie gallery called themselves the Refrigerettes, with a minimum weight requirement of 200 pounds. By late autumn, individual achievements pale and fade from memory, forgotten in the Christmas rush for the playoffs. Winter marks the final mile on the road to the Super Bowl. For a select few, it is the start of the championship chase. The Los Angeles Rams won the NFC West. Head coach John Robinson's game plans contained few frills and less than a handful of plays. Quarterback Dieter Brock stood small in the pocket, and the passing attack was more often less the result of design than of chance.
Brock may be checking off as he looks right and left. Back to throw. Brock looks to the right, fires down the right side for Ellard, and it is broken, caught by Henry Ellard at the 5, and he backs in for the score. It was that first.
But there was nothing lucky about the defense. A unit that drove opponents backwards and the Rams forward into the playoffs. Here, the defense shut out the Cowboys, and the massive offensive line shoved America's team into Mexico. With the doomsday defense littered like wrecks along a Los Angeles freeway, Eric Dickerson scored 2 touchdowns and rushed for a playoff record 248 yards. This season, Dickerson was not the best runner in the league, or even in Los Angeles. So after putt-putting along for much of 1985, he shifted into overdrive.
Turns and gives to the tailback. Dickerson pops up the middle of the 40, 40 to the 30, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown!
Although the Rams advanced to the NFC Championship, they were a flawed team, much like the Miami Dolphins. These slick, high-tech players in pastels moved more to the funky rhythm of Don Johnson and Miami Vice than to the disciplined beat characteristic of most Dolphin teams. Their ultra-fashionable look could not disguise a glaring weakness.
Defense! Defense! Defense!
Dolphin fans pleaded, but their cry was rarely heeded.
Defense! Defense!
The Dolphins could not defense either the pass or the run, and opponents easily exploited both weaknesses. Without a defense or a running attack, this team had more holes in it than Madonna's t-shirt. Thus, the importance of quarterback Dan Marino cannot be overestimated. When defenses took away the long pass this season, Marino readjusted his sights. Instead of bombing, he pecked and probed, and still passed for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
His perception of whether a man is open or not may be a lot different than anybody else's. He's going to throw the ball into some spots that I might not ask a quarterback to do for me. He knows his players and he knows how to get the ball to them, and he always done it better than anybody else in the history of football.
When victory hinged on boldness, his confidence was never more in evidence.
The whole season perhaps in balance here. Here is Marino back to throw. He's going deep, got a man down there. He's got a touchdown! Oh, Mark Cooper!
Marino was the only quarterback to defeat the Chicago Bears.
Marino takes the snap. He's looking left all the way. Fires the left side. Leaping grab more at the 30. Makes the turn to the 25. Cuts back to the 20, to the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown!
He led the Dolphins to 7 straight victories, and what lay ahead seemed quite evident.
Super Bowl! Super Bowl! Super Bowl!
But in the playoffs, the Cleveland Browns exposed all the old blemishes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The Browns' bark had bite as they raced to a 21-3 lead in the third quarter. But on this day, Marino and the Dolphins were mythic figures. Men who pulled swords from stones, cut Gordian knots, and returned with the golden fleece.
Third and goal from the 1-foot line. Here's a give off. Davenport. He's into the end zone for the touchdown.
We'll just enjoy today and the accomplishments of this team, the comeback. I'm very, very proud of this team, and get to work next week on the team that we play for the AFC Championship.
Until this season, the road to the Super Bowl never passed through Foxborough, Massachusetts. Like the rustic setting outside their stadium, the New England Patriots have always been best described as sleepy and quiet. The talent was often there, but not the leadership to guide it. In 1985, however, these slumbering giants awoke. And like the Minutemen at Lexington and Concord who surprised the British, these Patriots ambushed an unsuspecting NFL. The Patriots vented the anger of 25 frustrating years by unleashing an attacking defense and displaying a downright revolutionary offense. It was hailed as the biggest wake-up call in New England since Paul Revere's ride. Ironically, this call to glory began with soft words by a Texan named Raymond Berry. Hired as head coach in 1984, just 2 days before a midseason game, Berry made his methodical method of communication his first order of priority.
I did say at that point that I really had no intention of trying to learn one offensive player, one defensive player. Hardly been very difficult to do it in 2 days anyway. But I said, one thing I am going to know, I'm going to know all your names by Sunday. And I did.
Patriot players soon discovered that Raymond Berry, the coach, was much like Raymond Berry, the player. As a Baltimore Colt wide receiver, Berry's attention to every detail was reflected in legendary practice sessions. Through constant repetition, this former 20th round draft pick worked his way into pro football's Hall of Fame. He applied his meticulous methods to coaching. The result has been astonishing. It is Raymond Berry's theory that in football, possession is not 9/10 of the law. It is 100% of it. By practicing how to grab hold of a loose football, the Patriots made recovering fumbles a game day habit, leading the AFC in that category. One man's influence had them not only playing like a winner, but thinking like one.
Berry brings this team confidence, experience. He's been there. He knows what it's all about, and he's really pushing us to get to a point where we say, hey, he wants us to experience the good things that come of winning teams, and we play hard for him.
And right from day one, Raymond said, if there's anyone around this place that believes in the me generation, you can go someplace else. I'll arrange for you. Here, it's the we generation.
This vision of team unity best served Berry when an injury sidelined Steve Grogan, who had quarterbacked New England to 6 straight victories. Grogan continued to contribute, lending 11 years of wisdom to Tony Eason, the young quarterback who engineered the Patriots' drive to a wild card berth. The playoff-bound Patriots could not bask for long in the hometown spotlight. What lay between them and the Super Bowl was a task no team had ever accomplished. 3 straight playoff victories on what promised to be a rough and hostile road. New England sent the favored New York Jets packing by making the Meadowlands resemble a Patriot practice field. With so many ball-hawking drills under their belt, they made child's play of a loose-fingered Jet team.
I want to say something, man. I've been in 3 playoffs. This is the first one we ever put a kicking on anybody. We're going to keep going. Let's go.
In Los Angeles, the Patriots' myth of vulnerability stacked up against the Raiders' myth of invincibility. But within the span of 3 hours, both myths were shattered, and pieces were strewn all over the Coliseum.
Picks it up at the 10 and starts out to the left. That messes his timing up. He fumbles again. There's a loose ball. It's in the end zone. They're diving for it. There's a touchdown for the Patriots. On the drop, it's Eason rolling out to the right side, avoiding the pressure. On the run, he throws, and it's complete for a touchdown. Lindorff Jackson in the end zone. 6 points, Patriots.
In Los Angeles, the Patriots left the haunting memories of their past behind, setting a date with Miami for the AFC Championship.
There's nothing I want more than for them to experience what it's like to become a world champion team. And I had that privilege 2 years in Baltimore when I played there, and there's nothing quite like it.
Coach Berry said, he asks us every week, are we satisfied? And the only time we'll be satisfied is, if we're smiling at the end of the game in New Orleans.
We got this far. This ain't stopping us now. We're going to win the next one. All right. The next one.
The New England Patriots. In 1985, they emerged from the small town of Foxborough to travel a path to victory that saw them log more miles than any other team on the road to the Super Bowl. Chicago, city of the big shoulders. Hog butcher to the world, where even the feast of St. Valentine is associated with bloodshed. Chicago football, like its civic history, is not for the faint-hearted. In 1985, the Chicago Bears had the most ferocious defense in the NFL.
We're supposed to be crazy, and people think we're crazy, and once we hit the field, they're expecting something crazy.
It's like a pack of wild dogs. If one of them's mean, they're all gonna be mean.
Who won?
The Bears play a sophisticated and complex defense. But it still boils down to hitting, something they do with obvious gusto.
It's something every defensive guy wants, is that big hit every week. And that's what you're out there, to have fun and lay some wood on some people.
For the first time since the days of George Halas, the Bears are what Halas made them 50 years ago. The monsters of the Midway. Chicago's defense permitted the fewest points in the NFL, and 7 different defensive players scored touchdowns. This defense helped lighten the burden on the man who for years and years has shouldered the weight of winning for the Bears. Walter Payton, number 34. For 11 seasons, Payton has given the Bears every ounce of himself on every play, but never had he reached the Super Bowl. This year, at the age of 31, he again led the Bears in rushing, and he did everything possible to help his team win. While Walter Payton remained the pride of the Bears, Jim McMahon became the darling. McMahon, number 9, is no prima donna quarterback with hairdryer in tow, but a spirited, head-bashing rebel who likes to let the good times roll.
Well, my favorite movie of all time is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson. I mean, I think that character, his character in the movie, is a lot like me. I mean, people think I'm nuts, and I'm not. I'm pretty normal, I think.
McMahon is a resourceful scrambler and thrower who can roll out of a pocket or into a saloon with equal ease. His statistics aren't impressive, but for 3 hours each Sunday, he was almost always the best quarterback in the game in which he was playing. All you really need to know about McMahon occurred on a Thursday night in Minneapolis. Despite injuries that kept him out of practice all week, he kept begging Coach Mike Ditka to let him play. Finally, Ditka did. And what followed was a scene from a vintage Hollywood movie.
And Jim McMahon is on to quarterback the Chicago Bears. spent 2 nights at Lake Forest Hospital for a sore neck, and he's on to try to revive the Bears offense. First down at 10 yards to go, 30-yard line, Bears territory. Peyton the lone setback. Suey in motion to the left side. Vikings coming on a blitz. McMahon back to throw. Hurls it deep down the middle. Willie Gold is out there. Makes the over-the-shoulder catch to the 30, to the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! All right. The first play from scrimmage for Jim McMahon with an all-out blitz coming at him. He got it away, and Willie Gold had the single coverage beaten down the middle.
Of course, McMahon took a nice shot after the play, but so what?
McMahon's first, second, and 8th plays were touchdown passes as he rallied the Bears to a 33-24 victory. While McMahon became the NFL's new wave hero, his coach remained a champion of old-fashioned values.
I don't think you ask any quarter, you give any quarter. You play from the bottom up, the top down, whatever way you want to say it. Maybe that's old-fashioned, but I think there's a place for it.
Jimmy, Keith, how can he do that? How can Keith do that? How can he do that?
He breaks everybody down so that, first of all, you understand you're doing what he wants, and you have to be disciplined. It's almost like going to boot camp.
Damn it, Steve, line him up and run it.
To me, that's just the psychology of life, of how to get the best out of somebody, how to knock them down when they get too big for their britches, and how to raise them up when they're down.
Talking does not win football games. They did all the talking last week about what they were, what they could do. Don't say anything.
Mike Ditka coaches from the heart as well as the chalkboard.
It's going to be a lot tougher than this one. Let's get ready to play.
He once broke his hand smashing it in anger after a game. He now wears a shirt and a tie to remind him to keep his composure. But clothes could never hide his distaste for losing at anything.
I remember we were playing gin rum, and it was one of those days where the cards are really coming, and I'm getting good hands right and left because that's the only way I can win at the game. But I ended up and I'm winning, and it just keeps going, and Mike got so mad, and there's a guy I didn't know, and all of a sudden he takes the deck of cards and he just rips the cards half in two and threw the cards, took the chair, threw the chair, and the chair, leg stuck in the wall. And I mean, I was sitting there, who is this guy, In
1963, Ditka was a tight end for the Bears, and his fighting spirit drove Chicago to the world title. Now, 22 years later, that same spirit has unified the team he coaches.
I think that he's brought back the toughness in the Chicago Bear organization. Ask no quarter, give no quarter, and keep that chip on your shoulder and don't take it off until after the Super Bowl, and that's what we're trying to do.
Although they are the youngest team in the NFL, the Bears had the best record. Only one team, Miami, beat the Bears all season. To a city of battered dreams and near misses, the Bears restored a sense of pride. And to a theater of violence, they added a fat dose of comic relief.
Should we give him the finger? Yeah, man. Should we give him the finger? Yeah, man. Should we give him the finger? Yeah, man. We're number one, we're number one, we're number one, one.
Whatever we got on our minds, get rid of it, think football. One thing, 60 minutes. Everybody ready?
McMahon back to throw, pitches the right side. McKinnon got a fine tackle. 20-0, Chicago Bears.
Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl.
The Bears crushed the Giants 21-0 and earned the right to meet the Rams in the NFC Championship.
This is not the end of the road. I mean, there's work to be done. There's miles to go. That's the way the poem goes. We've got a little way to go yet.
And I tell you, it's going to get better. Well, like I said, the best is yet to come. It really is.
Today, on the frozen shores of Lake Michigan and on Florida's Gold Coast, 2 championships will be decided.
Sodden Orange Bowl. It's been raining here all week long. Patriots have now won here in 18 straight games. This one is for the right to play in Super Bowl 20.
Soldier Field in Chicago, the NFC Championship, and a trip to New Orleans for Super Bowl 20.
It's going to be very tough to throw the ball and very tough to kick the ball because of that swirling wind.
I want to put a dome over this place.
67 WMAQ, we're ready.
Do the Bear defensive bark. You ready, Doug?
Everybody bark together. You ready?
Okay, let's go.
Four teams have traveled this far, but 2 men seem to be riding the wings of destiny and taking their players with them.
Let everything hang out. Am I right? Am I right? Let's go.
The Patriots are hot. They've beaten the Jets and the Raiders in the last 2 weeks. And Miami's going to have to hold on to the ball today. They're also going to have to stop that running game that's been averaging 145 yards per ball game for the Patriots. He pumps once and throws. Touchdown. Patriots. Tony Collins catches in the end zone.
I never seen the team 15-1 talk so much. You know? They don't deserve to represent us, man. Never seen the team talk so much.
McKinnon in motion to the near side, and McMahon drops back to throw. McMahon steps up, now he'll take himself. He'll look to the 15 to the 10, may go all the way to the 5. What did he do there? That one in there, Jim. Wait a minute. Football as he puts the Bears on top. Eason on the fake, fires into the end zone, and that one is a touchdown.
Jinx stinks. The jinx is dead, baby. I'm too young to remember that anyway. I don't know nothing about it anyway.
McMahon rolling left, looking to deal. He fires the left side of the end zone. Good call, Mike. Good call.
As the Rams and the Dolphins watched their Super Bowl dreams fade, the Bears and the Patriots settled in and let their fantasies take flight.
What do you call that? Hey, that's a cheap shot, right?
So it's really starting to whip out there.
It has gotten colder steadily. And now the weather that everybody talked about
I wonder if they're
finally arrived.
Maybe they're cheering for the snow.
I think they are.
Somebody can't beat us in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, can't no one beat us.
It means that they have destroyed the Orange Bowl, Jinx. put it away today by beating the Dolphins, winning the AFC Championship, and opening the door to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana.
It is snowing steadily now here at Soldier Field. The weather that everybody from Chicago was hoping for has arrived.
Not to get theatrical, but I mean, how better can you write a script here for crying out loud?
Third down, 11 yards to go for Dieter Brock and company. Brock back to pass, the rush on. And hammered down. He got the ball. Picked up by Wilbur Marshall. Marshall running across. Go! 30. That's all the way. 5 touchdown goal. The crowning jewel in their NFC Championship.
28 teams started the journey under the summer sun. Only 2 remain on course, racing toward January's final Sunday. The Chicago Bears and the New England Patriots have never traveled this far on the road to the Super Bowl. They are about to discover that this last mile is the most glorious.
On one Sunday each January, even casual observers turn their attention to America's most watched sporting event. The Super Bowl's 20th anniversary celebration brought together the largest and most diverse audience in history and added the down-home flavor of a New Orleans street party. Over 127 million viewers worldwide tuned in on the festivities, while 2 groups of true believers reminded everyone that there was still a game to be played. Inside, under the Louisiana Superdome, the World Championship of Professional Football was at stake. The Vince Lombardi Trophy awaited either the 18-1 Chicago Bears or the wild-card New England Patriots, who had gotten this far by upsetting 3 straight playoff opponents on the road to New Orleans. But New England's momentum could not match the confidence of Chicago quarterback Jim McMahon.
We had a feeling we would blow them out because, you know, you can't be a championship ball club if you have doubt in your mind anyway. Just getting there, we knew we were going to win the ball game.
Middle linebacker Mike Singletary was just as sure.
Everybody was just kind of looking at each other. We didn't say much. We just looked at one another. And that's how it was right before the game. Guys just walked around and looked at each other and shook their head in reassurance that this is our day. I don't care who we're playing, we're not going to be denied.
The Chicago Bears were ready to take a title and make it their own.
Don't hold nothing back. This is it. You belong here. You're the best. Let's do it.
Chicago coach Mike Ditka had played in Super Bowl VI, and he knew the special pressures of this game could lead a team to early ruin. On their second play, his Bears seemed to follow this self-destructive pattern.
High formation backfield. Here's the handoff. Peyton Stutter steps the right side, fumbles the football as he's hit, and the Patriots have recovered, it appears, at the 19-yard line. New England football at the 19-yard line, and Larry McGrew comes out of the...
Normally mistake-free Jim McMahon called the wrong formation, and normally sure-handed Walter Payton dropped the football. Only the Patriots held true to form. In 1986, they led the NFL in forcing fumbles. Larry McGrew recovered the ball on the Chicago 19-yard line. New England gratefully accepted the gift, while McMahon took the blame.
The coach sent in a weak side slant play is what we call it. And You know, I called the wrong formation. The motion man was supposed to come and block the end man on the line of scrimmage. I was sending him away from the action where he was supposed to be coming to it. And, you know, just one of those things, you know, second play of the game, I just spaced.
But the Patriots may have celebrated too soon. They waved hello to their sudden good fortune, then just as quickly kissed it goodbye.
Stanley Morgan to the left side. Steffen starring wide right and taking the handoff. Eason looking to deal. Pops to the left side. Going for Lynn Dawson, and it's incomplete. Pass sailed over the head of Dawson, who had a step on the coverage down the left side. Neil Tony Eason takes the snap. Looks to throw. Looking left. Throws the middle. And it's dropped incomplete. Three incompleted passes. They settle for 3.
While Tony Franklin gave New England the earliest lead in Super Bowl history, ominous overtones filled the air. Patriot coach Raymond Berry had decided to depart from New England's reliance on the run and attack the Bears with play-action passes. The bold strategy nearly worked. Tony Eason's first pass was on target to a wide-open Lynn Dawson, when suddenly the tight end's left knee gave way. A cinched first down was lost, and Dawson left the game with torn ligaments. Eason's second pass was just as true, on a slant to Stanley Morgan. This time, the misfire cost the frustrated Patriots a touchdown. Morgan appeared to drop the ball cleanly, but a replay shows that he had help from Mike Singletary.
The second play of the game, my responsibility was really to get out there, if it was going to be a pass play, to help the cornerback as much as I could. The receiver was coming across the field, so it really made me take a hard turn inside. I couldn't look back for the ball. I had to look at him, and I had to read his eyes. And I was hoping that that would be enough to make him drop the ball, and it was.
New England's near misses did not end with the first series. In a long afternoon of what-ifs and might-have-beens, Berry's passing fancy was doomed to failure. The Patriot defense also dropped several chances to continue its turnover touch. Twice in the first quarter, number 55, Don Blackman, had his hands on a McMahon pass with nothing in front of him but open field. These missed opportunities filled the air with storm warnings, and the hurricane-strength Chicago Bears were on the horizon, ready to inflict a natural disaster. The stunned Patriots watched their fragile lead get blown away in a record-smashing tidal wave of points.
Patriots, it appeared, jumped off sides, tossed to Suey. Tackle, touchdown! Yes, William Perry has scored on a one-yard touchdown run in the Super Bowl.
Chicago's last NFL championship had arrived with the Beatles in 1963. Now there was a new wave quarterback to emulate.
And we've got a bunch of loonies. I mean, we got some crazies on our team that just cannot stomach losing. I think that's the biggest thing I've done for this team is bring some personalities out of the closet. Because, you know, they saw what a fool I make of myself sometimes. But I think I do the little things that help us win. Being able to pump people up and to have some fun.
But McMahon's greatest fun begins when the Bears put the ball in play. The punk rocker turns into a street tough who is more than willing to mix it up with the big boys. McMahon took all the shots that New England had to offer and came up for more, but his coach called for a less reckless approach. Mike Ditka wanted McMahon to use his mobility within the pass pocket to attack New England with his right arm instead of his body. Ditka's aggressive game plan called for a wide variety of passes, everything from quick hitches to crossfield misdirections. Throughout his pro career, McMahon's detractors had complained about his impetuous go-for-broke attitude, but no one had ever questioned his courage or desire. And in the biggest game of his life, number 9 kept getting back up to find the open man, connecting on 12 of 20 passes. During Chicago's cold weather playoffs, McMahon had started wearing gloves. In the climate-controlled Superdome, he kept them on to get a firm hold on an offense that would gain 408 yards for the day. The quickest strikes went to Willie Gault, a wide receiver with world-class speed, who sprinted untouched through the Patriots for 129 yards on 4 catches. In desperation, the New England secondary turned to intimidation. But when Patriot defensive backs got hung up with Chicago wideouts, McMahon simply set another part of his multifaceted attack in motion. Everyone played a part as the offense stepped out of the long shadow cast by the Bear defense to prove that Chicago was more than half a team. For defensive captain Mike Singletary and defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan, the challenge was to shut down the Patriots after the quick early score. This the Bears did, emphatically and almost completely. By halftime, New England's total yardage read -19.
You know, it's kind of like kill a flea with a sledgehammer type attitude. You don't want to let up. The biggest thing that I remember about Tony Eason was just coming out of the huddle. I saw a look of confusion, maybe of doubt, disillusion, whatever. The confident look just wasn't there. I think it was because we were getting to him and putting pressure on him, putting him on the ground.
Eason looking around. He's hit by Steve McMichael and brought down. Ball cut loose. The Bears say they've got Bears say they do.
Eason's first 6 plays ended in a sack and 5 incompletions. Yet still he continued to throw as the Patriots gambled to alter their run-oriented attack, backfired badly.
The thing that got New England to the Super Bowl, we didn't see it that day. They tried to throw the ball against us, and it just wasn't the day to do it. They just came out and they tried to pass. Well, automatically, our ears are going to fly back, and those guys love to pass rush. You know, it was just Highway 88, I guess you'd call it.
Highway 88 was not a safe place for Tony Eason. After 3 sacks, 1 fumble, and no completions in 6 attempts for -36 yards, Eason gave way to veteran Steve Grogan, who would fare no better until the game was completely out of hand. But Patriot quarterbacks were not the problem. Chicago's 46 defense was. Buddy Ryan had created the most devastating defense in Super Bowl history.
When you talk about the 46, you're talking about pressure. That's what we're really all about. It's just the pressure that we're trying to apply. Basically, it's a 7-man front, and you always have at least 6 guys coming.
Even when the Patriots stopped the blitz, they still had to deal with pressure up the middle from down linemen like number 99, Dan Hampton. All these flying bodies were meant to give New England the impression that Chicago had more than 11 defenders on the field at once. With all their options exhausted, the Patriots had no place to run and nowhere to hide. The 46 seems to defy logic. With all those people rushing the quarterback, someone should be open downfield. But if there was, the Patriots seldom could find him, and even when they did, success was not guaranteed. The 46 even beat the Patriots at their own game, forcing 6 turnovers and giving up only 2. Like kids at a company picnic, the Bears were having a field day. But they were not without compassion for the Patriots' predicament.
All the things that we can do off 46, we've got at least 50 different faces, at least 50 different things we can do. That's a minimum of what we can do with the 46. And you take a young quarterback such as Eason coming into the game and trying to figure it out, there's just no way in the world, especially coming out trying to pass early. And by the time they went to a running game, it was a little too late.
The Patriots' running game couldn't solve the 46 either. With 11 attempts, New England gained only 7 yards in a devastation so complete that even the Bears couldn't believe it.
They totally dominated that football game. It was a thing of beauty. Everybody did their jobs. They were hitting people, causing turnovers. You know, New England was supposed to be the team that, caused all the turnovers. I mean, just look at the statistics at halftime. I mean, minus 19 yards. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you can't even write a script for that.
This outrageous script called for Chicago to hold New England to minus yardage until the score was 30-3, and that was before Reggie Phillips scored with an interception. But Mike Ditka knew that the unbelievable scenario was true. He had watched his team outscore 2 previous playoff opponents 45-0. In their eyes, you could see Patriot pride had suffered a crushing blow. But even in defeat, the New England defense kept one pregame promise and kept it with a vengeance. The Patriots were determined to stop Walter Payton, the NFL's all-time leading rusher. It was as if Payton's greatness brought out the best that New England had to offer. After years of personal brilliance with losing Bear teams, Payton had finally found himself at Pro Football's summit. Yet, ever the team player, he offered to serve the greater good in a lesser role, as a decoy.
They came out in the paper that week saying, we've got to stop Walter Payton first. And they did a good job with that. They stopped Walter Payton. I think they were too worried about Walter and they forgot about everybody else. I faked the ball to Walter, and their whole right side of their defense thought he had the football.
New England's preoccupation with Payton opened a whole horizon of offensive opportunities for the rest of the Bears. Overlooked backfield mate Matt Suhey took center stage with the day's nicest run for an 11-yard touchdown. Jim McMahon also used the Payton decoy to score once on an option play and later on a 1-yard dive.
Inside McMahon on a keeper, leaps the line to the end zone for the touchdown.
soon everybody was volunteering to run the ball into the end zone. But big number 72 already had experience at the goal line. His name, William Perry, alias the Refrigerator.
He's a happy big boy. You know, he's just happy-go-lucky guy, just enjoys himself. People come up to him and say, hey, you're fat, you know, and he says, yeah, so what? Yeah, I am, you know, it doesn't bother him. Because there's a lot of 300-pounders in the league, but they're not quite his shape. You know, most of them are 6'6" or 6'7". Fridge is what, 1.5, 6'2". As everybody's seen now, he's a heck of an athlete for being a big guy. The man can play, and he can hit. And as far as that ball game, he played a whale of a game defensively. You know, he rose to that challenge. When you get that big a man moving and it hits somebody, you know, something's going to give, and it ain't the fridge. You know, he hit Mike Singletary that game, too. You know, Mike almost broke his neck after he hit him.
And this guy nails me. I mean, I couldn't believe it. He nailed me. But anyway, the running back ran out there in the flat. I ran out there to cut him off from the sideline, at least. He turned back in, and as I turned back in, I saw this huge mass. Every time I think about it, it's kind of funny now. It certainly wasn't funny then.
The amazing story of a rookie named the Refrigerator reached a fitting climax in Super Bowl 20. William Perry made 3 tackles and 2 assists, flattened 1 teammate, started 2 fights, attempted 1 pass, gained 2 yards, and scored 1 thunderous touchdown. While the Refrigerator was Super Bowl 20's most versatile player, Richard Dent was selected its most valuable. Someone from the defense had to be chosen, and number 95 was the most likely candidate, having spent the day plundering the Patriots' backfield, forcing fumbles, batting down passes, and finishing off sacks. By the 4th quarter, Dent and his fellow starters were on the sidelines watching Chicago's second unit finish off the scoring. A safety made the final score 46-10, leaving the Patriots to contemplate their role in the most lopsided game in Super Bowl history. New England had faced a uniquely talented team at the very peak of its potential. It's very doubtful that any team in football could have stopped Chicago on this day. The Bears ended their record-setting Sunday with one more Super Bowl first. They carried 2 coaches off the field in tribute to a classic performance by which all Super Bowl winners past and future will now be judged.
This NFL Films production has been brought to you by the National Football League. The NFL is online at www.nfl.com.